Yeah.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, Mayor.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal. This is an historic day for our city, an historic day for Sunset Park. First, I'd like to thank our partners, the New York City Economic Development Corporation, Equinor, BP, and the Sustainable South Brooklyn Marine Terminal for helping make today happen. I'd also like to acknowledge some very special guests. We have the Norwegian Consul General Heidi Olafsson, our DEP Commissioner and Chief Climate Officer Rit Agarwala, our Deputy Mayor for Operations Mira Joshi joining us today. We also have Councilmember Alexa Aviles and Councilmember Amanda Farias. Would also like to thank Glenn Siegel, the managing partner of Industry City, Julie Tai, the president of the New York League of Conservation Voters, Mariah Dignan, regional director for Climate Jobs New York, Adrian Esposito, the executive director of Citizens Campaign for the Environment, Fred Zalkman, the director of the New York Offshore Wind Alliance, Casey Schall, VHB National Director and co-chair of the New York City Offshore Wind Industry Advisory Council. As you can see, we have a lot of guests here today, a lot of partners. Thanks to all of you for being here and for your support of this amazing project. Now, as Deputy Mayor for Economic and Workforce Development, I spend every day with my colleagues fighting to build a better future for New Yorkers. That means that as we come out of COVID, we have to make sure that we are making this city a leader in climate resiliency and in clean energy investments. And today, we are laying the groundwork for that vision. We are investing in green jobs and in infrastructure that will benefit all communities. This is a real game changer for offshore wind in New York City and for the future of our economy. It is really incredible to think that this location will birth a whole new industry in New York City and will be a key driver of our long-term equitable recovery. This is truly about making New York City a place where everyone shares in our prosperity. It's about creating family-sustaining jobs of the future and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. It's ensuring every neighborhood can flourish. This is how we are going to create a clean energy future for all. And so now it is my pleasure to introduce the man who is leading the charge, Mayor Eric Adams.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank all of you here. Please excuse my hairdo. The wind is blowing it around. And one thing is clear, that the sun will never set on Sunset Park because they are lighting the pathway for our future, and the wind is blowing in the right direction. The winds of change is clearly, they are at our back, and it is so important that we continue to move in the right direction. I'm really excited, and I join the Deputy Mayor in laying out the excitement of what we are about to accomplish here in this community and in this city and the entire state. This is a transformative moment. New York City is moving towards a clean future and a future of sustainable power and good paying jobs for local residents. That is so important to highlight because far too often we watch the transformative moments take place in our city, and we leave behind far too many people. And that's something I've heard over and over on the campaign trail. The future of the city can't continue to rise while we watch the future of everyday residents continue to decline. Not in this administration and not with this amazing announcement we're making today. This transformative moment is starting right here in Sunset Park. I'm sure it's not lost on all of us that walk past these warehouses that are empty and really the potential is endless. And when we talk about what we're going to accomplish here in the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal, is soon to be transformed into one of the largest offshore wind port facilities in the nation. That is historical to think about. Working with Equinor and their partners, along with the New York City Economic Development Corporation, we're going to move this site to build a massive new facility with wind turbines, staging and installation operations and maintenance. This is an unbelievable moment for this community, because with the jobs, you're also going to see the spillover into the local bodegas, the local restaurants, the local coffee shops, the schools, the building a pipeline of opportunity and education. It's going to support 13,000 local jobs over time and 1,000 right here at South Brooklyn Marine Terminal. It's also expected to generate $1.3 billion in average annual investments citywide. This is an amazing opportunity for our city, and this is going to be an anchor location for not only green jobs, but green dollars to put in the pocket of everyday New Yorkers. And it will ultimately produce enough power for over 2 million homes. It's in addition to creating jobs and economic growth, the wind capacity of this site will significantly reduce our carbon footprint, something we talked about over and over again. We're not just talking about it, we're going to be about it and institute initiatives that's going to reduce the footprint and ensure that we meet citywide our climate goals of 100% carbon clean electricity by 2040 and carbon neutrality by 2050. And that's what I'm calling, as we say in our motto and our administration, this is how we get stuff done. Wow, that's a great picture. I hope somebody getting a shot of that. You know, that's a TikTok. You know, okay. Oh, love that. So we want sustainability and equity to go hand in hand. So we're going to make sure that this $191 million investment in offshore wind is also an investment in all New Yorkers. We say that all the time. It's about equity and ending the inequality that we have witnessed in our city. We will direct at least 40% of the jobs and investment towards women, minorities, and environmental justice communities. And we'll work with Equinor and other offshore wind firms to ensure that our local schools in this community and throughout the city, that they are trained with the workforce that we need for the future. Our colleges and other young people will know how to experience these jobs. All the jobs will impact good middle-class living and ensure that people are able to benefit from this investment that we're making. Equinor will establish a $5 million fund to bring more New York City residents to offshore and wind careers, real jobs, real careers, and allowed to move into a middle-class lifestyle in our city. They're going to establish an offshore wind learning center here in Brooklyn that will connect the community to jobs and training. These new jobs will include all kinds of construction work, as well as turbine staging, operations and logistics, and the technicians, staff members, and marine vessel crews that will service the turbines that we are building here. The design and engineering is already underway, with construction started to begin next year, and by 2025 we will be putting together the turbines right here at this site and getting ready to install them off the coast of Long Island. And so young people that are in high school right now, by the time they graduate, they will be able to be employed in the jobs of the future and participate in not only decreasing our carbon footprint, but increasing our use on wind to power our city and power throughout this region. This project can expand and continue to grow. There's full capacity. If you didn't realize that this is a windy city, I know you realize it now. There's a whole lot of electricity in this wind that's around us. And so they're going to not only graduate into better jobs, but they're going to graduate into a better climate and a better future. We're building better future for next generations, and it's starting right here in Sunset Park. And as your mayor, I'm proud of what we are accomplishing here and starting out the first few months of my administration. And this is a long-term vision that we have, and so we want to thank all of our partners and the team that has put this together. This is a great moment for our city as we move forward to a future where the wind is at our backs, the wind of success is blown in our direction, and we're going to make sure that we have a real win for New Yorkers. Thank you very much. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Adams. Now I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin, who along with Governor Hochul has been truly committed to bringing green jobs and manufacturing to the people of New York. Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you. It is great to be here. You know, Mr. Mayor, if I didn't see you, I would have thought I was in Chicago. It's so windy out here. When I saw my mayor, I said, no, I'm at home. I'm in New York City. You know, first of all, I want to thank Deputy Mayor Tori Springer for her hard work on behalf of New York State, working on economic and workforce development, which is such an important part of what we're talking about here today. You know, it's a great time to be here in Brooklyn, and I want to give a big thanks to Doreen Harris, who is here, who's the president and CEO of Nyserda, and who's been an amazing partner as we are moving on this transformational shift towards renewable energy. And we're making sure that as we make this move, as the mayor mentioned, we're going to make sure we do it inclusively, with equity, and everyone's going to be a part of this new economy. It is an exciting time, and it's a transformative time, and Governor Kathy Hochul and I are happy to be a part of this moment, working alongside Mayor Adams. You know, when Governor Hochul took office, we had to fight the wrath of Hurricane Ida. We saw infrastructure crumble to Mother Nature. We lost precious lives, mothers and sons and entire families, and it was heartbreaking. But one of the things we've learned that we must be on the offense, and that is what we're doing here today. There's no time to waste. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and we're going to invest our money where our mouth is to make sure that New York State is the leading state in the country when it comes towards clean energy, and particularly offshore wind. And quite frankly, the wind is letting us know right now that the wind is ready to roll, and so we need to get ourselves moving to catch up with the wind. That is for sure, because I'm feeling the wind at my back, Mr. Mayor. You know, in our State of the State, the governor announced $500 million to help invest in offshore wind infrastructure. We want to make sure that we install at least 9,000 megawatts of clean energy by 2035, which will power 6 million homes and create over 10,000 jobs, and we want those jobs right here in our community. So what's happening right here, right now, is putting us one step closer. This terminal, the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal, will become one of the largest offshore wind port facilities in the nation. We'll get this done. We'll get it done together. And I want to thank Equinor for their leadership. And the state, we're contributing $287 million in contracts to help, once this terminal is put together, to provide some of the resources for the offshore wind staging and assembly facility. 1,200 jobs, Sunset Park. Great day to be here. Thank you all for everything you're doing for New York City and New York State. And by the way, let me close on this. People all the time, Mr. Mayor, say to me, how are things changing? How is New York City and New York State working together? If today is not an example of how New York City and New York State is working together to benefit every New Yorker, I don't know what is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Now I'd like to welcome the indefatigable Elizabeth Jean-Pierre, who's Executive Director of Uprose and is also the co-chair of the New York City Offshore Wind Advisory Council. Elizabeth. Yes, of course. It is.
Just give me a second. Since you're in Sunset Park, let me say buenos días, mi gente. and welcome to Sunset Park. This is an amazing day. Thank you to everyone for coming out today, and special appreciation for our partners and allies who have stood by our side and supported the Sunset Park community all these years to preserve the industrial character of the waterfront. Today marks an important milestone in operationalizing an environmental justice community's vision for a green reindustrialization. Though we're here to celebrate this monumental moment, we must recognize the years of work, fighting, advocating, organizing, and passing legislation to get to this moment. Sunset Park is an environmental justice community with 3 peaker power plants, thousands of diesel trucks, waste transfer stations, and brownfields polluting the community for generations. Uprose has advocated to bring offshore wind to South Brooklyn, New York City's industrial waterfront, for over 2 decades. Offshore wind is an opportunity to implement a true just transition. To do so, we need commitment to co-governance, to supporting frontline community leadership, and to centering racial justice and equity in all aspects of offshore wind procurement, development, and operation. We must not only develop these projects in environmental justice communities, but invest in the necessary resources for access, which is why, as part of the Climate Justice Alliance, we work so closely to make sure that there are investments coming from Justice 40 into communities like ours. Historically marginalized communities like Sunset Park and Red Hook, communities that have suffered generations of disinvestment and environmental racism, need to have real access to training, education, and jobs. And so we're here today because we look forward to bold and courageous actions that make sure these environmental solutions are also climate justice victories. We're really excited about the fact that we are engaged in deep transformational work with each other. Climate change is not only coming for all of us, but it's going to take all of us working with each other in a way that is different from what we've learned so that we can address the crisis of our lifetime. So gracias de corazón. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Now I'd like to ask Lindsay Green, who's Executive Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer of the New York City Economic Development Corporation, to say a few words, and also take this opportunity to thank the incredible team at EDC, many of whom are here today, for working so hard on this project. Lindsay.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Mayor Adams and Lieutenant Governor. I'm excited to be here to celebrate this great public-private partnership and community partnership to transform this site into one of the largest offshore wind port facilities in the nation, and a true demonstration of what the future of a clean and just economic project can be. I also want to take a moment to thank Elizabeth and the broader NYC climate justice community for their leadership. They were some of the first believers in the potential of this, and so we couldn't be here without them, so thank you. I want to thank Equinor and BP for their partnership in the SBMT project, and for the agreement to build out this facility as an operate in a simulation space, and to power the interconnection site for energy that will really bring it all back here from Long Island. EDC worked really hard to ensure this agreement includes a lot of commitments for the community and to expand the potential and capacity of our minority and women-owned businesses that are based in the city, and it's a 30% participation goal specifically for this project, and that's amazing. And in addition to that, we're doing everything we can to put real money into jobs for New Yorkers and our local talent pipeline. We have the $5 million dedicated workforce fund that the mayor mentioned. We're also investing $10.5 million with CUNY to build up workforce training facilities and programs to help people learn what this work is. It'll be hard, as the wind is telling us, but it is important. And we're also going to be building out innovation centers to continue to grow the industry over time so that we truly become a regional and national hub. And on that note, I again want to thank our EDC offshore wind team for all of their hard work over the years and for putting on especially a successful workforce convening in the last week with a lot of people who are here today to really help start to realize this vision as the project is going, getting people prepared for these jobs so that when the work is here, there are people here to do those jobs and be really on time for that. So thank you to the team for putting that together. And lastly, I want to thank the team for this event and for all their hard work just to bring it all together today. It's a culmination, as many have said, of years and decades of hard work. So just thank you again for our partnership from the state, federal, and the community partners. And we're ready to get to work with all the wind. Thank you.
Now, this is, of course, a true public-private partnership, and so in that vein, I'd like to invite Siri Espedal-Kindom, who's the president of Equinor Wind US. Siri.
Well, I'm even thinking it's getting more windy. I think this is really good for the industry build. So, I'm honored to be here today, with the Mayor Adams. And Equinor has been looking forward to today for a long time. And I'm very proud of the industrial development and revitalization that will take place here. This site will embody our shared vision of delivering homegrown, renewable electricity to New York City, while we also are advancing the state ambition of becoming a global offshore wind hub. And isn't this a spectacular view of the New York skyline and the Statue of Liberty? Soon, we will also have you from our new project office over there, and we can look down in the future to the state-of-the-art operation and maintenance base that will be built here. And we will also have a look at the busy port that will assemble for the project, both for Empire and Beacon Wind. In addition, this will also provide clean and renewable power to New York City. And that is also a spectacular view in its own way. And we hope one day, Mr. Mayor, and others will come and visit and witness this incredible industrial revitalization for yourself. And this is just the beginning of a decade-long commitment by Equinor and our partner BP that will provide great jobs for a great community. So, Mr. Mayor, Equinor is committed to New York. We will look forward to working with you and the business community to create a supply chain for this exciting new industry. We will partner with local communities, with suppliers and unions to create an economic engine for a new industry. We are investing not just in the offshore wind industry, we are investing also in New York itself. So together, Equinor, our partners, and most of all, New Yorkers themselves have made this day happen, and I think we all deserve to feel proud. So thank you all.
Oops. Yes. Thank you, Siri. Now, another critical partner in this is BP America, so I'd like to invite Senior Vice President of U.S. Communications and External Affairs for BP, Mary Street.
Thank you. I'm Mary Street here on behalf of BP America. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Lieutenant Governor, Deputy Mayor, and all of the community partners here for bringing us together for this important project. And BP is honored to partner with Equinor and all of you all on this enormous opportunity. And for BP, I think it just brings to life what we see the opportunity in clean energy, and it's jobs, it's good high-paying jobs, it's community investment, and it's clean, renewable power, New York homegrown power to power 2 million homes. So we're looking forward to working with all of you all and as this project proceeds. And thank you again for bringing us all together in this wonderfully windy, beautiful place.
Thank you, Mary. As the Lieutenant Governor mentioned, this is an exemplary manifestation of city and state collaboration. And so I'd like to both thank and welcome Doreen Harris, President and CEO of Nyserda.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. This has been a day we have been waiting for decades, as Elizabeth said. When we are advancing the goals of New York's Climate Act under Governor Hochul's leadership, we need to think differently. We need to advance renewable energy in a way that involves just what you see here. We see the state, we see the local, we see the private sector, and we see the communities all coming together for the investments that are going to benefit all of us for decades to come. And so when I think about climate change and the ways that we are fighting it, I see opportunity, and that is really the moment we've been waiting for, as I said, for many, many years here in South Brooklyn Marine Terminal. So this is just the beginning of our offshore wind investments. When you set a goal of 9 gigawatts of offshore wind, you know the market will come, and we see it happening every day all across our state. And so it's exciting to be here. We knew this moment would come, but it doesn't come easily. So I just want to thank all the partners for seeing this through. It's an amazing day here, and I couldn't be happier to be joined by all of you. So thank you, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Doreen. And last but not least, I'd like to welcome and introduce President and CEO of Red Hook Terminals, Michael Stamatis.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, Mayor Adams, and Lieutenant Governor, and everyone for being here today. Today is truly a day for celebration. 36 years ago, I was just starting my career on the waterfront, roughly the same time as this once thriving facility was being closed in favor of more modern facilities in New Jersey. 10 years ago, I was asked to take over as president of Red Hook Container Terminal at a time when there was great uncertainty about the future of the working waterfront in Brooklyn. I was told I would only be needed for a year or so, the port would be closed so the property could be sold or redeveloped. I accepted the position, but soon realized I had arrived in a very special place, full of people that were passionate about their jobs, the community, and its rich history as the former center of maritime activity in New York Harbor with thousands of jobs, and the desire to not only keep the port open but return Brooklyn to its former status once again. We began to question the notion the remaining working waterfront in Red Hook would soon meet the same fate as the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal did so many years ago. And with the support of many, we declared, not so fast. The fact we are all gathered here this morning to announce the reactivation and revitalization of the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal in such a spectacular way as the first of its kind dedicated offshore wind, port facility, and clean energy center is vindication for all who worked so tirelessly for this moment and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the community, city, state, and region. I'm proud to say my one-year job opportunity in Brooklyn will now be where I finish my career, hopefully many years from now. There are many people to thank, but I first want to acknowledge and thank two people who are not here today but are truly the reason we still have a working waterfront in Brooklyn, and these vital facilities were preserved for maritime activity. That's Congressman Nadler and Congresswoman Velasquez. Their passion, support, please. Their passion, support, and advocacy for the working waterfront is unrivaled. I want to thank Mayor Adams for his continued and unwavering support of Brooklyn's working waterfront, previously as borough president and now as our mayor. Thank you for your leadership. We are fortunate to have you as our mayor, and know that today's announcement will just be one of many great things you will accomplish on behalf of the city. I want to thank Governor Hochul for New York's nation-leading commitment to offshore wind and the state's commitment and investments in investments in new and revitalized port facilities, and for making the reactivation of the South Brooklyn Marine Terminal possible. I want to thank Doreen Harris and the incredible team at Nyserda for blazing the path forward in the development of offshore wind in New York and beyond. Thank you. Thank you to the leadership and team at the New York City Economic Development Corp. This has been a remarkable journey, and an outcome you should all be proud of. Thank you for your partnership. I want to thank the Sunset Park Task Force members for all their efforts to achieve this outcome for the community, and terrific community advocacy partners like Elizabeth Jean-Pierre and other community members who have worked long and hard to make sure that this facility was put to a highest and best use, and I think we found it. Thank you. I want to thank the men and women of the International Longshoremen's Association, some of who are here today, who many years ago were working cargo vessels here, and we're used to working in this weather, and today continue to unload cargo vessels at Red Hook Terminal and work tirelessly through the pandemic without a pause, without a complaint, to continue supplying all of us with much needed food, medicine, and everything else we come to depend on in our daily lives. Thank you. I want to thank my partners, all of them, and in particular Mr. Glenn Siegel and everyone at Industry City. The remarkable transformation of Industry City into the thriving place it is today, where thousands of people come to work, shop, and enjoy the many restaurants and activities, is a testament to your commitment to the Sunset Park community and the city. I'm proud to be your partner and truly could not have done this without you. Thank you, Glenn. Finally, we must all thank Siri, Espindel Kingdom, Mary Street, and the brilliant teams of Equinor and BP for your incredible and tremendous leadership and commitment to SBMT and New York's clean energy transition. None of this would be possible without you. Thank you. We look forward to a long partnership together, and thank you for making Sunset Park and SBMT your new home. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
It is great. 2 months into my administration, people have already determined what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. All I can say is buckle up and wait and see, and then give me an analysis when I finish my 4 years. Next. Yeah, okay.
The turbines that are working on here, where will they be sited? I know you mentioned the Long Island project. Will they go elsewhere in the country? And given how windy it is today, is there any...
Great question. Anyone want to answer that? Mm-hmm.
Great question. So there's going to be an assembly site here, and that's going to be used by the Empire Beacon Wind project, as I said. But we foresee that when this offshore wind industry develops, that can also be used by other partners that is coming, the other developers that are also building sites elsewhere. So that's the thinking behind it.
Is there any feasibility that you have turbines in the city?
Well, I'm only commenting on these projects. So and these are these are quite distinct areas where they will be put up. So I'm commenting on the Empire Beacon Wind.
Thank you.
I'm going to take two off topic, but I'm just going to ask everyone back here to...
Yeah, you guys can bounce. Okay. Good job, Maria. Thank you. Thank you. Good job. Long battle. Nice sport. Excellent. Excellent.
Mayor, I want to talk
As long as that's happening.
Please speak to
Well, Ed has been amazing in joining all of Americans responding to the horrific actions that are taking place in the Ukraine, and I'm going to continue to lean on him because we have both a Ukrainian population and a Russian-speaking population here in New York, and we don't want the terrible actions of Putin to be reflected or impacted on our Russian-speaking population here. And so the business dealings that Ed has had in the past has nothing to do with what he's doing now in my administration. I'm going to lean on him to continue with the international relationship. This is an international city, and I'm looking forward to my international commissioner to build on that city. I'm going to do that in layers, okay, because you asked two. First, let me answer the one about the anti-gun unit. The unit is going to roll out, and the commissioner can give you the exact date, but let's be clear. Without the unit in place executing now, we are still removing hundreds of guns off the street because there is an operation that is in place and that will continue to be in place. So regardless of any new unit that we're going to unfold, we still got a job to do, and that's removing guns, and we are doing that job as well. The first question was... Okay, yeah, listen, my team under Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, we're going to put together a cross-analysis of how post-COVID New York is going to look. Education, working, healthcare. We can't stumble into post-COVID. We must put in place a real analysis on what post-COVID is going to look like. It may include a 4-day week. It may include a 5-day week. We have to look at that, and that's what we're going to do. We're moving into a new era of working. What New York is going to look like, where our central business districts are going to be, and so I'm open to the change that's going to take place. One thing is for sure, you cannot remotely run a city like this. There must be in-work interaction, and that is something that we're going to have to come up with, and only the future knows.
And on that, do you have a date that you think the COVID passports
on the
when the mandate for vaccine passports with private businesses? Any idea when that?
No, the healthcare professionals. I'm following their lead. Like I said from the beginning, I'm going to follow the science, and the science has led us to where we are now, and I'm going to continue to follow the science. Thank you.
On subways, Mayor, on subways.